occupancy.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that Lance brought some handout sheets along with him, and those are available for participants here. They have some details on some of the products and some methods to manage water in your basement or foundation area. So,
and how would people find those?
They click on the handout button.
Yes.
There they are.
Yep.
2 PDFs and a doc.
Let's see if we have time for one more question here. Do you use DRYLOK on the interior of the wall if there's no vapor barrier on the outside? And the answer is yes, right, Lance?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Every day.
When framing out a basement, should you put 6 mil over the concrete before framing? Some kind of capillary break, but not that, right? Like sill seal, right?
I think they're talking about you got a basement wall. Should you put 6 mil poly over the basement wall before you frame the wall?
Oh no.
Or they could be talking about the slab.
That's what I thought, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
Edward, what are you talking about? Where are you putting
the answer? No, right?
No.
So regardless, no. We use treated sill plate when we do basements. I've done metal stud framing in basements for durability reasons that I think is a poor use of metal. But we don't even if you have that much water moving through your assembly, you really need to make a more concerted effort to solve that before you start framing it in and finishing it.
You know, basements were never really intended for living space. That's one thing people have to realize. They're really just a way to get, look at my grandparents' house. It was where they stored the summer's crop of root vegetables. It was like a root cellar, basically. So in some cases, there is not going to be a really good solution for some of the problems to turn a basement into living space. There are limits to what we can do managing water.
I would feel foolish to disagree with the national treasure that is Mike Girton, but I'm going to disagree with you anyway.
Okay, good.
We finish a ton of basements based in our market. I think that one of the things that you miss, we started with caveman, right? Like before we had the house, like we're okay to live underground. We just have to do a few things to make it work. And I think the main thing is to manage the dampness. We try to use vapor tolerant materials because a lot of times there is going to be some humidity, or you completely solve for water, which Lance can help you with. And then you don't have that comfort or air quality issue in the first place. But to be fair to Mike, your market's full of Fieldstone and springs that I don't have to deal with. So, different conditions, different strokes for different folks. But we definitely, we have a lot of, guest rooms in basements, frequent use spaces, but yeah, probably not your master suite in the basement, probably not the kitchen, but certainly my family watches Friday night movie down here in our basement. We love it.
That's cool. And it's nice to have a space that is reserved for something special, right? It's like you go there to do this thing. Either you're working on your craft or you're exercising or you want some quiet or you want to have family movie night. It's cool to have that kind of space. And it's hard to argue that a basement is not perfect for that in many cases. Andrew wants to know, is there any benefit to installing perforated pipe horizontally across the basement every 8 to 10 feet in addition to along the perimeter? We are in a high water table area with clay soil. I'd say, Andrew, if you're in a high water table area, that's not a bad idea. It's not a lot of money and it's going to be hard to do later, right?
Well, if you're going to be building new, then rather than just putting those pipes in, if you put a layer of
gravel,
stone or drainable gravel, the water's pretty much going to level out through that. So you wouldn't necessarily need a lot of pipes. If you don't have a gravel layer or a stone layer underneath, then the additional pipes would be helpful just to collect the water that's unevenly distributed under the slab. And then, of course, always with new construction, if you get the opportunity, The code does require, I think the code does require that under concrete slabs, we put down a minimum of 6 mil poly before we pour the concrete slab. So that's
And
going
your
to be
contractor, your concrete guy is not going to want to do that, but you have to make them, and you have to make sure that they don't put a bunch of holes in it, because that is a very difficult thing to get them to want to do.
And don't put a blotter layer of sand on it. The concrete should be in direct contact with that plastic to be most.
And
most
the plastic should be over the insulation layer, which is a mistake I made in my barn build. So don't do what I did.
I'm impressed that you have an insulated slab in your barn. That's a big win, Patrick.
It's really hard to put it in there afterward, Travis, right? You have to do it. And it makes your concrete take a long time to set up, to tool it, trowel it. So that's why the cement concrete finishers don't like it. Lance, I'm going to let you go first. What's your parting words for our folks who are here tonight?
Well, hey, we appreciate everyone attending and your interest in keeping a basement dry. I am in company. The guys that are on this webinar are very intelligent. They know what they're doing. I appreciate being part of it. I truly do. Travis. So, hey, we're grateful for the opportunity, and we try to offer solutions, and I think we do a pretty terrific job.
Thanks for being on the show, man. Mike, what do you want to say?
Nothing to add. I think, there are a lot of articles in Fine Home Building and on the Green Building Advisor about managing water in basements, about how to do footing drains and how to do them inside, how to do them outside, all sorts of stuff. So is there a way that you were going to couple some of those resources, Patrick, so that people could find those?
Yeah, I'll put your
how
slides with the page, or ask Jess to, and that we have some detailed photographs that you've taken, and we'll link some other stuff too.
Yeah. So if people go and watch this after the recording, there should be a notes page that they'll see all the links to those articles. That's correct. Yep. Okay, good. Travis, what do you want to say before we part company?
Well, if you can't get a hold of the details from Patrick, just send me $5 and I'll send you the sketch I made while I was.
Oh yeah, you don't have to send me any money, and I'll send you all my sketches because I'm working on.
I don't have any sketches.
Foundation details.
Oh man, we're shooting out on that too.
Yeah, right.
Well,
no, I guess the only parting information I would give is that if you want to learn more from people like Mike, you should come to Kansas City in September on the 28th and 29th for this year's Building Science Symposium. Mike will tell you everything you need to know. So come to that, read Fine Home Building, pay attention when people talk, and you'll do fine.
Well, I want to thank everyone for being here, and I hope it was helpful. I learned some stuff, and it is always a pleasure hanging out with my friends at Fine Home Building. So I hope you all had a good evening. Please stay safe, keep craft alive, and keep your basements dry.
So long.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.